So what I have here is a 3D printed Drago Rex. It's supposed to be a T-Rex, and then the creator from Thingiverse turned it into a dragon, sort of. So this part looks pretty dragonish, but with this, it kind of just looks more like a T-Rex. So what I'm going to do today, first of all, I'm going to kind of reshape and add some bits to make it look more dragonish. Then I'm going to do this technique and turn it into a burned dragonish skull. Okay, so first of all, I need to remove some of this jaw. It's too chunky and it needs to be more slender to look more like a dragon. So I've got my Dremel here, and I just saw some of this off and make it a more refined, delicate jaw. Okay, so it kind of just melted a little bit, but that's gonna be fine. We'll just cover that in some burned flesh, and already it looks a little more delicate. It looks a little bit more like we can make this dude dragon instead of T-Rex. I need to cut off, oh, see, look, it's kind of hollow inside a little bit. I just gotta do the same thing to the other side now. And what we're gonna be doing next is just adding some frill type material with foam just to make it a little bit more dragon. Yes, there we go. All right. Whew. Pardon me a moment. I'm covered in plastic. All right, these are trash. Next up. So I'm going to make this have a little bit more character than just straight on. Like, see, it's made to hook in just like this, but honestly, that's pretty boring. So I'm gonna use some hot glue to just kind of have it hanging open a little bit. I'm gonna start by gluing this bit here, so we have a starting point. And yes, there are bits of green plastic in everything now. Lovely. All right, so while that's kind of starting to dry, I'm gonna kind of find what sort of expression I want this to have. He looks a little happy, honestly. We'll have to fix that because I don't really want a happy burned skull. It just doesn't really make too much sense. And I'm just using this as a prop to kind of keep it open because it was what I had convenient. Oh yeah, okay, I found the facial expression. I'll show you in a minute. It's like I want him to look maybe a little bit agonized, but not retarded or happy. Fantastic, I just lost my expression. We just want him to be kind of hanging open a little bit. And then we'll put some flesh hanging down as if the jaw is just catching just by the last bit of tissue there. Please dry, please dry. Crafting is pain. Owie. So I think he's going to need a little bit of a crest back here, I guess. I mean, I do like the horns here, but I want more. All right, I gotta do a facial expression check. Oh, he looks a little retarded. I said not happy, not dumb. And now I'm getting like happy dumb. It turns out the hot glue does not stick very well to the spray painted plastic. Interesting. All right, well, maybe he will look a little less special once he's more burned. Wouldn't it be lovely if this glue would stay where I put it? Apparently the glue stick prop-up idea doesn't work, so just go straight to the Q-tip. I'm gonna go ahead and start in with a little bit of the cotton here. Kind of strengthen this joint a little bit. Cover up some of that hot glue that keeps getting stuck to my fingers better than it adheres to the intended location. Okay, so while that continues to dry painfully slowly, I'm going to get some craft foam going on. Making just some little spurs here at the back, because the bottom jaw is what's looking most un-dragonish and pro-dinosaurish. Yeah, that's definitely an improvement. So I'm going to do more of those. Oh yes, I like this. Much better, right? We're going to be putting on lots of burned flesh. He's going to look nice and toasty. So I gotta add a couple more. Oh, it's finally getting dry. So I'm just using some scrap 6mm foam, just kind of trimming it roughly to a point. I'm gonna add a little curve onto this one. It's gonna go something like that. All right, that's looking pretty nice. What else does he need? Something looks a little off with the skull up here, so I think I need to give him either like a frill up here or just more horns, which I'm really liking the horns, so I think I'm just gonna go with more of those. He's looking a little goofy, so I'm just gonna add in some extra teeth, make it a little more like fangs. For these, I am taking a little bit more time to get them better rounded because they are right in front. There's not really going to be a lot of burned flesh on the teeth. Mr. Dragon is ready for burned flesh. The fangs help him to stop looking like a T-Rex. Now it's time to move on to Mod Podge. Cotton balls. It's a dinosaur. To make the burned flesh, I'm using Mod Podge. You could use liquid latex, you could use glue. Paint some nice glue onto the general area where we want to add burned flesh. I'm also going to paint some onto the foam pieces I used because I want to strengthen them, make them a little bit more stiff and sturdy. Probably will also go over those with some actual wood glue later on because that does dry hard as opposed to drying flexible like this Mod Podge. You don't have to cover the cotton completely. It will absorb the paint differently depending on how saturated it is, and all the natural variations will help to make it look more realistic. It's nice to kind of pull out bits and stretch it and make it look nice and stringy because you'll be able to really bring out that texture later on in the painting stage. It's very messy. It's only gonna get worse. I'm just gonna keep building up layers, trying to keep in mind where major muscle groups would actually lie. So we will definitely have a good chunk of flesh in this area where the jaw is suspended. I never realized that cotton balls just unroll like this. I guess it makes sense. It's very useful for this application. All right, so I need to get down a little bit of the glue here so that I can suspend this piece between. And then as you just sort of pull and tug, it naturally gets piecey. Oh, that was wet. And stringy like muscle would be. The cotton's pretty sturdy as you build up the layers. This is an area where the 3D print wasn't that great. It needed some different support structure. But that doesn't matter for this because I'm just going to cover that area up with some pseudo muscle and pseudo skin. And magically there is no longer a major fail right there. And also covering up the base of where my foam tooth meets the plastic teeth. Can give them some nice receding gums here. Oh yeah, see how he kind of looks like he's snarling now? Highly, highly messy. I am pleased. We'll roll the old cotton ball along, we'll roll the old cotton ball along, we'll roll the old. This horn right here, sad story. I was looking at it after it just printed and I dropped it. But my story is that in battle, while I was hunting this dragon, I chopped off one of his horns. Who's gonna argue with me? Not you. Get a little glue down. Stretch a little muscular tissue, or muscular cotton as the case may be, and then go over the top. I'm gonna keep adding layers. Wow, that just went in my hair. Fantastic. Look at that. See, really starting to have some character, some expression, a little agony. Not that I'm into torturing animals or anything, it's just, it's kind of the character that I'm going for. Caused a little pain, but hey, maybe it was just for food. Or maybe it was self-defense. I'm claiming self-defense. It was a pretty even fight, let's be honest. It could have just as easily been my burned skull on the dragon's trophy wall. You can really do it as thick as you want, just depending on how well cooked you would like your piece to be. Because if it stays in that fire a little too long, there might not be a whole lot left other than blackened bones. Just cover up any of these areas that were less than perfect in the printing stage, or where I was performing a little bit of surgery to shave that jawline, give them a more feminine, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, oh boy. Sometimes I wonder. You do not want it to look like it's covered in cobwebs. So make sure you do keep some nice chunks, not just only stringy bits. Oh yeah, that's a nice snarl. Me like. Me like. Well, oh. Well, I guess I should have probably let that dry a little bit before I laid it down on itself, but that's fine. There's a lot of freedom in this project. Just have fun. Get dirty. So Mod Podge doesn't actually wash off very well once it dries on your hands, so you may look like your skin is peeling off for a day or two afterwards. You don't have to cover everything here. That's why I painted it a bone color before I started any of this, because I want to be able to leave some areas exposed where the flesh was completely burned away. But I do not want to bury any of my little horns. I've reached the point now where it's so gooey that I just can't do much more with it until this layer dries. So I'm going to allow this to dry for a while until it is fully set. Go back in and add cotton to any areas that look like they need a little more burned flesh. So next time I will show you actually painting this, and that's when all the detail really starts to come out, because you can add in some kind of bloody areas like raw meat, and then the burned blackened areas. It really brings out the texture. So that will be next time. And I need to wash my hands.